Hi, I'm Mika Chalcombe. I'm World Child Home Ventilation Nurse here at Sheffield Children's Hospital, and today we're going to be talking about the Trilogy 100 ventilator. It's a ventilator we use for some of our invasively tracheostomy ventilated children. At the rear of the ventilator is a filter. That needs to be removed and washed every week. Never put a wet filter back in. You may have an oxygen port. It's a small white piece of plastic. You press the metal down, the plastic insert, give it a gentle tug and it shouldn't come out. You can put in up to 15 litres of oxygen through an oxygen port here. Because it's coming in where the air is coming in, it will not affect the flow of the ventilator. Same as for a Trilogy, if you are using an oxygen port at the output flow, it will not know whether the air is coming from the child or from an oxygen machine, so it will affect the flow of pressure being delivered. You have got also the external battery. So unlike most ventilators where the external battery sits outside of the unit, the external battery on this is integrated to protect it. There is a black flicky button at the top. You pull it out, the battery will detach. On the rear is a small picture of the battery. If you press and hold this, it will light up to tell you how much charge is in the battery. If you rely on having at least 4 to 5 hours in this battery when fully charged, think of each glowing light as an hour of charge. So as there are 5 lines, you've got at least 5 hours. If a child is on lower flow, you may have more. To insert the battery, you simply place it in, you simply place it in, bottom side down, and give it a push. It will click into place. If you gently shake it, it shouldn't move at all. The charge cable attaches to the side of the ventilator, and on the same side is where you will have the place to attach your expiratory flow of tubing to the child. On the other side of the ventilator, you will see it's a slight 2 arrows. You do not need to worry about this. If you push it, it will open up and there's a slot for an SD card. This is only for use by the ventilation team for us to see the type of ventilation that's been occurring for children. On the front of the machine, you will notice there is a power button and a silence button. Then at the base we have an up-down arrow and 2 selection buttons. This is not a touchscreen ventilator. Everything is required to be done by the buttons. You turn the ventilator on by pressing the power button. It will automatically start to blow once it's gone through its self-checks. You will see at the top the flow being delivered. You will see at the base, if no alarms have occurred, there is a choice of menu with up and down. If you have had a nebulizer enabled within the circuit, if you press the button highlighting nebulizer, a picture of a nebulizer tubing will appear, and that is to allow for a change of flow because higher flow occurs when the nebulizer is in use. If you want to see the official settings this ventilator is set at, you can use the up and down arrows. If I select up, you will see a menu appear. At the top it will say switch Bluetooth, switch to secondary settings, remove SD card, my settings, options or information. If I want to go into any of those choices, I have a choice of either selecting them or exiting the whole menu system. The initial one you may want to use is to switch to secondary settings. On the top left hand corner of the screen, you will see it says P1. That's program 1. Most of these children on this machine will have 2 programs. I can select switch to secondary settings and must confirm that I want to do that. You'll notice at the top of the screen it's gone to P2. If a child has 2 settings, they will have a ventilation description which will tell you what those settings are. If, however, you switch to secondary settings, don't have time to find a piece of paper and want to see what is being delivered, you can scroll down to information, press select, and you can scroll through the settings that are being delivered to that child. You can finish to go back to the main menu, exit to come out of all menus. At the top, it will tell you the respiratory rate and the flow being delivered. To turn the machine off, I press the power button, press yes to confirm, and the machine will turn off. There is no picture of a padlock on most of these ventilators. It can be set to show a padlock, but unless the menu has been clinically unlocked, you cannot change settings. It is safe to use without a padlock appearing on the screen. If you want to turn the ventilator on not attached to the child, in order to look through the settings, you can hold the silence button and the arrow, and after about 5 seconds it will turn on in what we call training mode. When you have turned it on in training mode, that is when you could make clinical changes, so this should not be done unless you are the Embrace team or one of the staff changing settings. But it does allow you to go between looking at primary settings and alarms. I scroll down and press select, and I can see the different things happening. Or I can finish everything and it will automatically turn off and go back to a black screen. If I want to switch between settings while the child is on the ventilator, I can do so. I must make sure that no alarms are happening, so I reset them all, press menu, switch to primary settings and confirm. You will see at the top it changes. Anytime an alarm is going off, you will hear a loud noise and a red bar will appear to tell you what alarm is happening. If nothing else is on the screen, I can press reset once I've corrected the alarm and it will go back to the main menu. As you can see, there is a picture of an internal battery and an external battery. It's telling me they're both fully charged. Rely on having between 4 and 5 hours for each battery. If you think you are going to be longer than that, make sure you take a charge cable. As you can see, it says SD card. It means there is a card in this ventilator. Some will not have that. Any alarm that goes off, you check the child first. You then work your way back from the child to the machine. I'm just going to go through what those alarms can mean. They come up either as a red alarm, telling you it wants you to immediately do something, or a yellow alarm. A red alarm can either be low minute volume, low tidal volume, low respiratory rate, apnea. All of those mean that it thinks the child may have a blocked tracheostomy or no flow is getting to the child. It may be that the exhalation port is covered, it may be that your child needs suction, it may be if you're on a wet circuit you have got humidity water building up in the tubing, or it may be that you have a saturated HME. The other alarms are high alarms, so high flow, circuit disconnection, high minute volume, high tidal volume. The machine is trying to tell you that the child is either breathing too fast or no flow is getting into the child because air is escaping. Again, start with your child. Check the tracheostomy is in situ, check the tubing is attached, work your way backwards to the vent, check the oxygen port is on if you have no oxygen being delivered, and then check that everything is attached. If there are any problems or you would like to discuss anything further, I'm Amika Chalacombe and you can contact myself or my colleague Lee Richardson at Sheffield Children's on 0114 27 17 000. Thank you.